Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. As many of you may remember, in the end of the Honda Accord video, I mentioned that there was a big project coming, and I absolutely was not lying and trying to lead you guys on to the next video, because here it is. This is a 1998 Honda Prelude SI with four-wheel steering. As you can see, there was a badge there for it, but it sat for many years outside, as you can see by the paint, but it's a perfectly running and driving car. Everything, all the electronics on the inside work. The interior is in pretty good condition, and it's just so rad. It's so 80s. I love this thing already. Just driving it home last night was fun. It's futuristic in the fact that they were just trying everything they could to be new and different, especially with four-wheel steering. Honda was probably the first to pioneer that. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let me fire it up for you guys and go over the plans we have here. I'm not sure if this is going to be done in one video or two or how many, but as you see, it fires right up. Sometimes in the cold it needs a second to fire up. It's pretty chilly today. I don't think it got over freezing at all today, but as you can see, it fires up and idles smooth as can be. Let's pop the hood, show you guys what engine it has. Oh, and also, look at that. Look at that. Can pop up headlights. First car I've had with pop up headlights. So this is definitely going to be a car I don't have to do any engine work to, because the motor runs and drives perfectly fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. The only thing I think I might end up having to do is, at some point, while driving it home yesterday, I had a check engine light come on, and I completely lost actually I don't have it right now either, my temperature gauge. So I believe it probably needs a thermostat or a vacuum, or coolant hose is leaking. I doubt it's a coolant hose because it hasn't overheated. And it's definitely not something like a head gasket because it's not overheating, and I drove it all the way home. Anyway, so while we're on the interior, let's look at some of the things that I'm going to need to do to it on here. It's in really good condition. The seats don't have any rips or anything. There was a steering wheel cover on here, but I took it off, and the steering wheel's in great condition after sitting for so long. There is some wear and tear of the plastics from being sun-baked for so long. Really, if I was going to do anything, probably be stuff like this that's worn out. I'd probably try to find a new one, and that's like universal. I can find that out of an old Accord or anything. It doesn't have to be Prelude specific, just so it has the little cigarette on there. I'm picky with stuff like that. The mirror, it's peeling on the edges, and there's supposed to be a little piece that covers that. I believe it's a light that covers just these screws. So I'll try to find a new mirror and maybe that little fixture. Parts are going to be hard to find for this car, obviously. They're rare. There's not many of these cars around. But, you know, it'll be worth it once I find it. Other than that, rear seats. If we get out here, you can see it's aftermarket Kenwood speakers in the back. One thing I gotta do is that antenna motor doesn't work, so the antenna doesn't rise up. That's a typical thing for 80s cars. So it has a radio, and the radio does work, but just doesn't work that good because it doesn't have an antenna, so it's not getting a signal. So we got that. We got, you know, some little things like this. Might try to find a new shift lever, which is probably going to be impossible because button back there is all worn out, and just the shift lever in general is worn out. I doubt I'm going to be able to find that. This door card, if I come across a parts card that has everything, I'm going to get everything I need. As this door card is peeling here, it's all busted up here. So I probably replaced the door card. I'd probably take this out of here because the windows, automatic windows, still work, which is amazing. Other side. Other side's slow, but it works. Power locks work, as you can see. So yeah, every option on this car works. Even cruise control, I tried that last night too. It's just, I think even the power mirrors, let's see. Yep, power mirrors worked, and they didn't work on the Accord. So yeah, power mirrors are even working. So this thing is honestly kind of a gem to find, because especially if you hear what I got it for. I paid $1 grand for this thing. $1 grand for a perfectly running, driving, brand new brakes all around. Had new tires put on it before it got parked. It was parked for, I think, 4 years. So the tires are a little cracked in some spots. They're a little low, I gotta fill them up with air. But the tread is like brand new, and they're definitely gonna pass inspection. They're not completely dry rotted, like the Jeep over there. Wheels are in perfect condition. Let's see what else we got. Stuff that's gonna have to be addressed. It had a almost kind of half-assed Bondo job done to it. Well, it not exactly half-assed, it just never got paint on it, so the rust formed back again. So I'm gonna sand all this down here where the rust is coming through again, down here and all down there. Luckily there's no holes, no rot, just a little surface rust. So I'll do that on this side too, not as much on this side, just in there. End up doing that before we paint it. I don't know if I'm gonna paint it myself. I could very much paint it myself and I'd have to find someone who has a paint booth, rent it out maybe and paint it myself. I'm gonna have to hit this up with black again. These are peeling, or try to take it off completely and leave it like the brushed aluminum. Same with the wipers. I gotta get this little trim piece for the sprayers. So if I find a parts car, I'm looking all over for a parts car, even if it's not in Pennsylvania and I have to have things shipped to me. That would be great. A lot of parts actually. I'm still gonna get a box of parts for this thing from the owner. He's got like all the badges we're taking off for painting, the 4-wheel steering stickers for the side doors I'm gonna get. It might even have an antenna motor in it, so I don't know. We've got the rear light. This one is fine. The reverse lights all work and everything, so that's fine, but this one's cracked, so I might try to source a new light. Actually, I think this light's out too. That brake light is out, I believe. So, other than that, oh, fog lights. Fog lights on the front are missing, but they're with all the other parts that I'm gonna get. And yeah, so a lot of it is pretty much complete, and it runs and drives, which are the big things. All it's really needing from me is paint and a little love to the interior to clean it up. And yeah, and I'll have it sent on its way. So yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, oh wait, 4-wheel steering. This is what a lot of people want to see. So if you look here, these rear wheels turn, which is definitely neat. But yeah, anyway, stay tuned and see what we do this thing. Alright, I'm out here with the Prelude again. As you can see, here's the problem that I want to fix. I have that S3 light flashing and the check engine light comes on. It only does after driving. I just took it for a little ride and got that to pop up. You gotta go above 50 miles per hour for the check engine light to come on, but the S3 blinks the whole time and you don't go into overdrive. So you only have 3 gears. So yeah, kind of something I need to fix. So my plan, I actually think I have the part. I just got a bunch of parts yesterday from the guy I bought this car from, and I'll show you all of them in here. We got a lot of stuff. The front fog lights, so I'm gonna hook them up pretty soon. What is this? Those are for suspension. That might be it. I believe one of these parts is what fixes the flashing S3 light. I'll do some more research on this S3 light. Just want to come out and watch what makes it. Oh yeah, I think this is the solenoid. I believe it. Yeah, I believe so. But look at all these things. We have like manifolds. I got the original badges to put on then. The bar for the front but I don't know if that's going to work or not, because I don't think it's a little melted in one spot, so I might end up swapping it out. Another thing I gotta do, I've got the new cover for this. That side had, this side didn't. One thing I gotta do is take the old motor out for the antenna, do all that. But yeah, I got a lot of parts now to try to put this back together. I might try to do the fog lights now. Alright, so, funny joke, both of these are left-handed lights, and as you can see, the left-handed light I have in now doesn't work, which means it could be wiring or the light, or I don't know. So I'm done with these lights for now, and I'm going to try to mess with the S3. Alright, so first real day working on the Prelude here, I have taken out the gauge cluster. For anyone who would be doing this themselves, it's pretty tricky. That bezel down there fits on top of here, and that's the first thing you gotta take apart. You gotta do it by taking both of these little squares off the top. As you can see, they get a little damaged in the process. Mine did, at least, because mine sat in the sun, baked on them for years. But, I mean, for most people it will, because the windshield's right here. It bakes it. So once you take that off, you can take the other bezel off. You can take this bezel out here, which needs to come out when you take this off by, wow, that's not secure, but anyway, by taking out this switch and this switch, at least on the SI model, because they get those options for fog lights. And then that allows you to get the screws, all your wires sitting there. And then finally, you gotta take this panel off here, which, as you can see, I still kind of have just dangling by a screw. You take that off. That allows you to get up in there and take the last plug out, which is the tachometer plug. Tells your tachometer how many revolutions your motor is at. And yeah, for all this, the wheel's got to be tilted all the way down, or else you're not going to get it out. But yeah, I got this gauge cluster out. And I've done that to assess the biggest problem with this car, apart from its paint, which is the vehicle speed sensor. I need to basically either get a new vehicle speed sensor in this thing, or get a new gauge cluster, because either or will fix the vehicle speed sensor problem. Because right now I don't have overdrive, it's throwing a code, and I lose my speedometer every now and then. So to pass inspection, which is what I'm trying to get this thing to do pretty quickly, I gotta get that problem fixed. So I've already contacted a few forums. I've got someone who will get me the vehicle speed sensor, another person who will get me a speedometer, a whole gauge cluster. I'll do either or. Luckily, it's got manual or analog odometer, so it's easy to match it with the miles on this. So I'm not too worried about swapping out the gauge cluster if I have to. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of the bigger things to get done. The problem with the speed sensor is it's been discontinued, so they're hard to find. They're almost impossible to find. But yeah, let's see if we can get the part and get that fixed, and that'll be a good start to this project. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got a second speedometer now to fix this speed sensor problem. I'm going to do some swapping on this, because this was a Canadian one, as you can see. It's in kilometers instead of miles. So I'm going to swap that out because the car's not from Canada, so I don't want people seeing that and thinking the car was from Canada. Other than that, everything else is fine. Odometer I'm going to have to roll to match the miles of the car. And then other than that, I'm going to swap out this with mine because this one has a bit of a crack, as you can see. I also got a rear view mirror. As you know, mine was peeling all around the edges. This one looks really nice, and dude who I bought this from threw it in for me, so it was nice. Alright, so as you can see, we got loads of parts. Some of the parts from this old speedometer I'm going to part out and sell. Things like the old tachometer. Obviously I'm going to use this speedometer. I'll sell the Canadian one. This odometer I'm taking out and replacing with mine since it's got the right mileage. things like that bezel right there. Clean it up, even though it's got the little crack, it might work for someone. That little thing right there, that bezel, the shifting pattern, or the automatic transmission shifting pattern, things like that. And then this mirror, I'll save it and take it eventually to a flea market, see if I can get like $2 worth there, $5. To kind of explain how this works, this white thing here is the master assembly for the gauge cluster. That is what I believe is bad, what is causing the check engine light to throw. So here's the old one. As you can see, the box is a little bigger, which is a little concerning that this was a kilometer car instead of a miles car. I'm wondering if this might throw stuff off, and I might end up having to swap out those computers, which also concerns me because I wonder if that might be the vehicle speed sensor. It doesn't really, and everywhere you look for these, it doesn't specifically say what the vehicle speed sensor is. It says it's something on this master assembly. That could be this computer board, that little chip there. Could be anything. But anyway, I swapped it. It's got my miles, my odometer's right, my gauge is right. I'm gonna pop this computer on, put it back together, put it in the car, and hopefully the car's not dead. It's a little cold out there. And take it for a spin and see if that fixed anything. Alright, there she is. All put together. Right speedometer, right everything, right mileage. Now keep in mind, I am no Honda engineer. I do not ensure that this is going to work, especially if you're trying to follow along. God bless you. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm going to go put it in the car and give it a shot. See if I get the light thrown on once I take it for a drive. There we go, just like that we got the new mirror in there. As you can see, it doesn't have all the fading around the edges. It's just 3 screws to pop it out up there. I want to get the cover. It's supposed to be a cover that covers all that, but I don't have it. I might 3D print one because they're a hard part to find, and I have connections to someone who has a 3D printer. As you can see, we got everything set up, everything back together, everything is working. You get hazards, headlights now pop back up. Yeah, so we're gonna take it for a spin and see what happens. How fun this car was to drive. Just quick. Alright, I'm not seeing anything come on yet, so I think we're pretty much good. Alright, so that officially works. Odometer, don't know why that's not spinning. I might have to take it back out and check that and find out what's up with it. But I got rid of the check engine light. That was the big accomplishment for this video. Also just showing you guys the car and what projects lie ahead. Now that we got that done though, I can take it to get inspected, put insurance on and do all that. I'll probably drive around for a while. And next step is this paint. Still got to do little things like that, antenna motor and the fog lights, and clean up, give the whole thing a detail. But I'll do that after I do paint. So yeah, that was bulk for this video. It is pretty much over, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content with this car and many other cars. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!